Another spring training game, Riley Greene, and projected win totals for the AL Central, all today on Locked On Tigers.
You are Locked On Tigers, your daily Detroit Tigers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? We are back here for another edition of Locked On Tigers. I'm, of course, your host, Scott Bentley. Today is Wednesday, March 30th, 2022. Thanks for making Locked On Tigers your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast, and that's, of course, including YouTube. Of course it is, right? We all know by now. We're on the YouTube. Go subscribe there. It's going to be really fun to utilize for visual effects and looking at plays, whatever, stats, pages. It's going to be really fun to have during the season. So be sure to drop a sub there before it's too late. It's never going to be too late. I think I said that like last week too. Anyway, we're back. We're back and we're balling. We got a lot to talk about today. Pretty full show. All right. We have the Tigers 11 to 8, a lot to not as much final to the New York Yankees. And then we have a lot of conversation about Riley Greene based on some comments made by a person that is retired, like a not even an active beat writer. Like it's not even a presently like active working beat writer. He's retired, but he's a voice within the community. He made some comments about Riley Greene, so we'll be sure to get into those because that's really today. And then we're going to end with, I believe it was USA Today. Yes, it was. USA Today gave all of their projected win totals based on their 6-person panel and then just having the aggregate for every team. So we have an entire AL Central. Well, I guess we can take a look kind of all around baseball, but mostly we're going to look in the AL Central because there's some weirdness going on there. So let's get into this training game first. We'll get that out of the way because this is a pretty easy one. A lot of offense, not a lot of pitching. That's pretty much what most of this comes down to. Really cool moment. Spencer Torkelson and Riley Greene almost go back to back. They had back-to-back walks the game before, which is like, I tweeted this out. I was like, this is almost more impressive to me than if they went back-to-back home runs because everybody knows how much I love my walks. However, then they were about 5 feet away from actually going back-to-back. And that was a very cool moment in which I was like, maybe walks aren't as cool as back-to-back dongs. But it was just short. Torkelson had a double off the wall. Greene went yard. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And I can't wait to see that in the regular season, which you will. Spoiler for segment 2. But that was still a really cool moment. Just a super cool thing to see during the game. You know, the offensive guys that we've been hearing about are going to be the building blocks of this franchise. Finally here. It's a beauty to see. Sight to behold. What else happened in this game? Scopey made a nice defensive play. Jamer continues to get back on the horse a little bit, which is great. He started off spring really, really slow, and in a condensed spring like that, it's nice to see him get back to what we're used to his production being at, and what we expect his production to be at going forward this season. Javi, we kind of know what Javi is at this point. Not really too worried about his spring. Robbie Grossman, we know what he is. Akil Baddoo, still just really paying attention to what he does against lefties. Pitching wise, this is really, again, like not a lot going on here. To be completely honest with you, Erod started this game, and it was look. Here's the thing with Erod, man. I don't Like, I don't care that he gave up a lot of runs. A, there was another error. But B, Erod pounds the strike zone, and it is spring training. It's gonna happen. You got a bunch of dudes that are just gonna be, getting warmed up, swinging at anything that's in the zone, and he throws the hell out of the ball in the strike zone. So I don't really care. Like, somebody made a joke on Twitter. I forget who it was. So I apologize if you're a listener and I can't give you credit, but somebody made a joke about, oh, spring training is if somebody does good, it matters. And if somebody does poorly, it does not matter. Correct. Yeah, exactly. I think I said that right before, something along those lines, right before game one of spring training or game two of spring training. And I was like, yeah, man, like if it helps your narrative, spring training matters. But if it doesn't help your narrative, then spring training don't matter to nobody. Which, again, I think obviously that's somewhat of a joke, but at the end of the day, it's also kind of true. Like, no one's gonna be like, oh well, Mike Trout sucks because he's batting 215 in the spring. Like, nobody's gonna think that. But if you have a rookie that's OPSing 1300, let's just say, right? Just off the top of my head, if you had a rookie that had a or 1300, like an 1130, the fifth high OPS in all of baseball so far in spring training, you wouldn't be like, oh, well, it's spring. Do that, right? Would you? Some people would, and we're going to talk on the next segment. So yeah, I don't mind that Erod struggled. Whatever, man. Like, still my ace, still my opening day starter, comfortably. So I don't really care. Ronnie Garcia. But I like we do have to start kind of paying attention to these these open spots that are available for the bullpen, because the bullpen race is coming down to the wire here, and we got some moves that continue to be made, and that will continue to be made too. I believe we're at 39 players going into Wednesday's game at the time of this recording, at least. So that's something to keep an eye on. Peralta, I was sent to minor league. He was not, I believe. No, he was sent to minor league camp, so he will not be making the opening day roster. Not a huge surprise there. He will absolutely be one of the first called up this season if we have a starting pitcher, maybe even a reliever, just any pitcher injury. Brian Garcia, Diaz Cameron down to AAA. El Diaz, Pinto also reassigned. Daz Cameron, since the issues to work on, still a lot to work on the offensive end. Factory on the other side, absolute electric factory. So we don't mind that at all. Go work on your craft, and get right. Brian Garcia, everybody knows my opinion of Brian Garcia at this point. He's a one inning reliever that can't strike people out. I think Brian Garcia is, truthfully, I think he's a candidate to get kicked off the 40-man when Torkelson and Greene are put on the 40-man at the end of spring. I think that Brian Garcia is someone to keep an eye out for as one of the guys that could get waived or DFA'd to make room for those two guys, because they're still not technically on the 40, and they're going to have to be if they want to play on the opening day roster or play this season, right? So I think Brian Garcia is another candidate for there. So we're down to 39 because I think like Jacob Barnes was sent down as well. So he was never going to, make the team or anything. But so we're at 39. We got to get to 28 by opening day. So more and more are going to come, obviously, and we are going to keep an eye on that. And really the biggest thing is the bullpen situation, and apparently the outfield situation, which no the thing, but apparently is, thanks to people who are speaking on Twitter. Gotta choose my words very carefully here. Okay, we are going to get into that conversation where I have to continue to choose my words pretty carefully. But first, I'm going to tell you guys about Athletic Greens. This is one of the most free-flowing just like non-scripted ad reads I will ever do, because I actually take Athletic Greens every day, every single morning. And, and I didn't before they were, before they were a sponsor of the show. However, they sent all the hosts kind of like a free intro kit so that they could try the product before they started selling it. And I'm re-upping it and will continue to do so. It's incredible. It's just one scoop, mix it in with your water, like mix it in with 10 ounces, like 3/4 of a little like water bottle of water every single morning. And all of the vitamins and nutrients that your body needs on it, all of them, all 75 vitamins that your body needs on a daily basis. um and you can start your day with that. It's awesome. And I immediately started, after taking it, my body felt a lot better. I mean, digestive, bloating, like all of it felt so much better so quickly, that now I swear by it, and I continue to take it, and will continue re-upping it for as long as I can. So this is not a not a very like scripted ad read, just because like I said, I am actually a customer and do this every morning. I don't have to read from you, what other people's experience with it when I actually do it. It's awesome. And Athletic Greens is so going to give you a free 1-year supply of their immune supported vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/MLB network. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/MLB network to take ownership over your and pick up the ultimate nutritional insurance. Everybody, we are back here for 2 at Locked On Tigers. Thanks for making Locked On Tigers your first listen every day. Be sure to check out Locked On MLB Prospects. Host Lindsey Crosby is a prospect encyclopedia, and he's going deep on MLB stars of tomorrow. It's free and available wherever you get your, including YouTube. Lindsey Crosby's on YouTube. Be sure to check us out. Be sure to check them out. All the Locked On hosts should all be on YouTube at this point. If you're only on Locked On for me, I'm flattered and honored. Be sure to check me out on YouTube. If you listen to other teams, go check all them out on YouTube, because I'm pretty sure we've made a full transition where just about everybody's on there at this point. Okay, this is a sick jersey, by the way. If you're on YouTube, you can see it. So we need to have a discussion about the conversation that was had throughout the fan base yesterday, as you're listening to this. We have to. Can't avoid it any longer. There was a retired beat writer who made a comment on Twitter about how Riley Greene is a very talented prospect, is uber talented, but having him start in AAA, he would support. And not that he wouldn't support him making the opening day roster either. Some of the discourse kind of got a little carried away, right? We kind of got a little bit carried away of the main point of what he was saying. However, he did say that he would understand and support starting the season in AAA and see the logic behind. And then when asked about the logic behind it, pointed to experience as his reasoning. Experience being Riley Greene was drafted out of high school. Here's where it starts making no sense. Riley Greene was drafted out of high school, whereas Torkelson is ready to make the major league roster already because he went to college. Now, for those who don't know, I'm a college dropout, right? So already the notion that for me personally, this notion that you you cannot be successful in anything, or you need, more experience, or you need to do better, or you're somehow lacking or behind someone who did in certain industries. Absolutely. This is a whole different conversation. I'm not going down this rabbit hole. In baseball, this is ridiculous. And here's why. Riley Greene has been facing professional pitchers, pro pitchers, since he was 18 years old. The only way that this argument that I almost just said his name, I want to try it. The only way that this person is making would make sense is if he believes minor league and professional baseball, if minor league ball is a worse competition than college baseball. That's the only way that makes sense. Which, by the way, is asinine and not even remotely close to even being potentially true in any universe. It's the difference. There's not even a conversation, right? This isn't even a point of. There's no point in even breaking that down. You're literally talking about dudes who are pros and get paid to do this. It is their job. They do it for a living. Versus college kids playing. Not even close. So that argument makes no sense because Spencer Torkelson went to college and has experience. What are you talking about? That makes sense in this in any way, shape, or form. Riley Greene has faced has had more professional at-bats than Spencer Torkelson. He was drafted before him. Like, what are we even talking about? What are we talking about? So that argument is asinine and ridiculous, and honestly, somewhat embarrassing in my eyes. That's a ridiculous thing to insinuate. That Riley Greene is not. It might make sense to let him, marinate in AAA because he lacks experience. Did Juan Soto lack experience? No. He was just good. And people get at me. I'm not saying Riley Greene is the next Juan Soto. Everybody calm down. What I'm saying is, if you're talented. If you're ready, you are ready. It's just preposterous to me, that whole thing. So we look at the outfield. Victor Reyes, Derek Hill, Robbie Grossman, Akil Baddoo, Riley Greene. Daz Cameron, but Daz Cameron's now already been guaranteed starting in the minors. So you got those five. Vic, Hill, Baddoo, Grossman, Greene. I'm not sure how you can possibly justify not having Riley Greene in the outfield on opening day. I'm not sure how you can really justify that. The only way you could is if you think and you believe that Derek Hill is a better hitter than Riley Greene is a defender in center field. That's really what it comes down to, mostly, right? Because we have the corners. Baddoo and Grossman are going to play the corners right off rip. That's how the outfield's going to look. So center field, Victor Reyes is nobody, no matter your opinion of him, whether you agree with my take or disagree with my take, which has for some reason been a hot topic of conversation for the last 3 years. Nobody wants Victor Reyes to be the everyday center fielder for this team this year. Nobody. So it comes down to Hill and Greene. Do you think that your fourth outfielder should be Victor Reyes over Riley Greene, which is already preposterous if you think. But more importantly, just for the starting center field job, Derek Hill, we know, incredible defender. Riley Greene, we know, great prospect bat, top 5 prospect in all of baseball offensively. I mean, for his all-around game, but I don't even want to say majority because he has made a ton of strides defensively, but he's definitely known for his bat more than he is for his defense, right? We can agree on that. And the weaknesses per se of the two, Derek Hill has struggled professionally at the plate. It was a former first round pick quite a few years ago, least we forget, and has not really ever been able to be consistently even league average offensively. Whereas Riley Greene was drafted as a minus defender, quote unquote, in right field and has turned that narrative and spun it. And there's actually a quote out there where he literally said he was kind of offended by that and heard it on draft night. And he has turned that into being a plus defender in center field throughout the minors. Now, there's a huge difference between manning center field in Toledo and manning center field in Comerica Park, which is one of the biggest outfields in all of baseball. So those are the two sides of the coin. And personally, he was fantastic last season in the minors. Fantastic. In a full season of minor league ball, he was fantastic. Right? Won Tigers minor league player of the year. This year, everybody says he's ready. Everybody knows that this is the year he's going to come up, right? Hey, what year is Riley Greene going to play? 2022. That's what everyone's been saying for what, a year and a half now? Everybody's had this year circled. And he was great last year. And now he comes into spring and has an over 1100 OPS so far in spring training. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? All right, we'll get into some of these projected win totals for the AL Central and the Detroit Tigers. And like I said, we might take a look at just all of baseball kind of because these are always fascinating to debate and discuss. And we will do that right after this. And this is over. Welcome to segment 3, everybody. Locked On Tigers. Appreciate y'all for being here. Almost time. Almost game time. I'm in another room. I'm actually out of town this week. So if the scene is weird or if the times I upload are weird, I apologize. I'll be back at the beginning of next week, right in time for the regular season to start. I will be at opening day. Be there or be square. It's going to be a riot. It's going to be super, super fun. Be sure to say hi if you see me. You guys were really good about that last year, though, so I'm not worried about it. Okay, let's get into who was this again? USA Today. That's who it was. Did this, going through and just doing their projected win-loss totals, projected records for all the teams in baseball. We have the AL East as a juggernaut. 4 teams winning 87 or more games in the AL East. Red Sox finishing 4th in their division, going 87-75, but with the expanded postseason would be a playoff team. So they have the Boston Red Sox finishing 4th in their division and making the postseason. Unbelievable. The 3 division winners they have are Toronto, Chicago in the Central, and then Houston still in the West. Houston and Chicago both going 90-72. Toronto going 92-70. Tampa Bay winning 91. New York winning 88. So that kind of gives you the playoff picture, right? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 and 6 is 12. Boom. Yes. Okay. So there's your postseason. They have Toronto, Chicago, Houston, Tampa Bay, New York, Boston. No non-division winner outside of the AL East making the postseason, according to USA Today. Taking a look at the AL Central, they also had Seattle at 85-77 and the Angels at 82-80. Just so you kind of get a clear view of everybody else who's in that playoff hunt before we get into the Central. The Central is interesting to me. Interesting is a stupid word. The Central is fascinating to me because First off, they have Cleveland with a worse record than Kansas City. Cleveland getting way too much hate. The Guardians getting way too much hate in my eyes. Maybe it's just I have to see it to believe it kind of a person, and they have been such a thorn in our side for so long that I'm like, I'm not really sure Cleveland's going to be bad. You know what I mean? And not that 74 wins, they don't have anyone. They have the AL Central as the only division where nobody loses 90 or more games. Worst team in the AL Central losing 88 there. They have Baltimore losing 103 and Oakland losing 92. So only division in the American League, only division in all of baseball, actually, where they have not a single team losing 90 or more. Look at us. While the NL, they're just throwing out 90 loss teams like crazy. Cincinnati 72 and 90, Pittsburgh 60 and 102, Arizona 61 and 101, Colorado 71 and 91, Miami 73 and 89, close enough. Washington 70 and 92. They're just handing them out like candy, like Oprah Winfrey. You get 90 losses, you get 90 losses. Ain't nothing about it. So only division in all of baseball. That's kind of cool, I guess, for as much as the AL Central's dogged on. I think the division is trending upwards. I also have a really, really sweet AL Central roundtable discussion with all of the Locked On hosts that are hosts of AL Central teams. All 5 of us got together for a 40-minute episode that we're going to put out next Tuesday, a week from yesterday. It's going to be super cool. And we talk about just the state of the division and who's expected and kind of how we were all feeling going into the year, which is awesome. Great group of guys, great group of lads. And I can't wait for y'all to see it. It'll be on YouTube and everything as well. So they have the Tigers at 80 and 82, which is third in the AL Central. They have Kansas City at 75 and 87, only one game ahead of Cleveland. And then they have Minnesota finishing second at 83 and 79. This is, I don't like it. I think the Tigers are the second best team in this division. Whatever, homer, sure, whatever. The thing that confuses me, maybe confuses isn't the right word, but the biggest issue I have with it, I'll say, is that Minnesota improves 10 games on their offseason. And they did add some talent, right? They add Sonny Gray, they add Carlos Correa, they add Lord Bundy, right? The dog. So they increased that win total by 10, right? Because they won 73 last year. The Tigers are adding Erod, a ace. They're adding an ace, an everyday premier shortstop, a starting catcher, and 2 of the 5 best prospects in baseball. We're adding 5 impact players. 5 impact players to our team that won 77 games last year. And our win total goes up 3. The Minnesota Twins, again, they did add talent. They made a ton of trades. I mean, I guess, you also brought in Gary Sanchez, I guess, but that's kind of iffy. Like you still really don't have pitching. You don't have a true ace, I don't think, in your entire organization. And the 2 guys you got can be question marks at times. And then after those 2 guys, it's Chris Archer, and that's kind of it now. I like the Archer deal for them. Might as well go for it, right? With Archer, $3.5 million, sure, why not? And I know Minnesota underperformed last year to what they were expected and what they had been doing for years prior, but they also traded away their best starting pitcher and one of their most consistent bats during that era. Gone. If Byron Buxton can play 150 plus games and they get some crazy pitching help that I am not seeing right now, then I guess maybe. But even then, I don't know. It just seems a little I don't like that logic. That logic bothers me. Again, we added 5 impact players that are going to be everyday starters, and we go up 3 wins. Detroit versus everybody, baby. Thanks for making Locked On Tigers your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On MLB. Host Paul Francis Sullivan, please call him Sully, brings you his unique perspective on the major leagues past and present. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube, just like us on the YouTube. I think that's all I got for you. I think that is all I got for you. All right. We will catch you all tomorrow, as always. Peace and love. Going to therapy's dope. And I'll catch you all then, baby. Go Tigers.